back to yet another live broadcast on your favorite football update channel. It's a pleasure to be back with you guys on this beautiful Wednesday night at 34 minutes past the hour of 11 p.m. Apologies for the lateness. Oftentimes, I do not deliberately come late, but when it matters beyond my own control, that then I do find myself in that kind of situation. So, so and today is one of those days. But again, I'm happy to be back. I hope you guys have had a wonderful day. I hope you're enjoying the action that is ongoing in as far as the Premier League is concerned, in as far as the UEFA Champions League is concerned, there with Inter Milan just having restored parity against Bodo, while Arsenal remain with their slim nil 1-0 lead against Wolverhampton Wanderers, thanks to a goal by Bukayo Saka very early on, and so Arsenal dominated the ball, but once again, they lived the Arsenal way, pass it around, without causing Jesus a lot of trouble or without creating enough. Sometimes you feel the ball is being moved at a very slow pace, but yeah, that's the nature of Arsenal. That's what we are accustomed to. It is what it is. It's not pretty, but it's what you get with the Gunners, unfortunately, whether you like it or not. So, all right, we'll. Okay. Then, of course, the UEFA Champions League earlier on, Newcastle beat up against Karabakh. I mean, that's not even beating. That's a demolition, winning that game by 6-1. As we speak, Atletico de Madrid are 1-0 up against Club Brugge, while Bayer Leverkusen and Olympiacos, that game is still goalless. In the Spanish La Liga, after 78 minutes played, Villarreal lead Levante by a 0-0, just like Como lead AC Milan ahead of halftime by a 0-0. So, that's what is happening from elsewhere in regards to today. Okay, that is Mose. Oh, Mousetrap. Mousetrap says, I'm back from the dead. How can a mousetrap die? I thought it is the mice that die. For those of you that are just joining us, thank you for joining the Football Tribe UG channel. My name is Robert Kesakos, and I'm coming to you live from Kampala, Uganda, where it's 37 minutes past 11 p.m. Kindly like the broadcast, but also consider subscribing to the channel and help support what we do here on the Football Tribe UG channel. I'll be really, really pleased if you can do me that absolute honor and favor and like the broadcast. So, okay, Waza says, bro from Pakistan. Hello, Waza. How is Pakistan? How is the Cricket World Cup going for you? Understand Pakistan haven't been at their best in a long while, but they're still one of the good guys, or one of the best there is. Oh, okay. That's a physical duel or a physical battle that just went on there between William Saliba and Arokodari, the Wolverhampton Wanderers forward. Okay, just allow me check out a few things or update them in as far as our topics are concerned. Check out our audios, and then we'll proceed for the conversation tonight. But yeah, that's where our basis will be on the UEFA Champions League as well as the Premier League. Also says by Kaisa. Oh, is that Pakistani? Is that Arabic or what? Apologies. I'm not a linguist. I'm not linguistic. I'm not a linguist. So my understanding of languages is limited to a couple and only one international language, and that's English. And that's why I choose to speak to you guys in English, So it's the only language that I'm comfortable with on that front. So please bear with me for those of you that are part of the broadcast. Oh, okay. Again, just having a confirmation on something on this other side. Yeah, I think we're good to go on all fronts. Saif, eh? Sifa. Sifa says hi. Hi, Sifa. Why are you joining us from Sifa? It's good to have you on the broadcast. It's good to have you on the broadcast, Sifa. Where are you joining us from? All right, that's done. That's done. No more attention draggers. Back to where our eyes should be. Like I said, Arsenal have had majority of the ball. They've not used it for much. On the other side, Inter Milan, I mean, they've been solid. They've tried not to concede many goals, and unfortunately for them, or luckily for for Bodo Glimt, they found themselves behind. That's for Inter, and with Karabakh ahead, but they did score to restore parity. The goal needed to be checked for a possible handball in the build-up to the goal, but it was cleared to stand. And that's why it's still 1-1 apiece in those two fixtures. So, yeah. Oh, come on. Jesus Christ. How is that not a foul on a player? Tell me how that is not a foul. I'll wait. I'll wait. How is that not a foul? Wolves have started getting back into the game at a dangerous time of the game, towards the tail end of the first half, and the last thing Arsenal want is concede before halftime, because then that puts them into a very, very difficult spot. We saw them concede during the first leg, very late on in that game, and it nearly ended in tears for the Gunners. So I'm sure they would want to avoid any repeat of what transpired on that occasion or during that time when things happened the way they happened, because Arsenal did not score in that game, ended up relying on two own goals for them to win that game. So uh-oh. Juventus yesterday had one job to do, and that was to be as conservative as possible. And they didn't, and they got punished for it. Inter will know that better than anyone, that if you just go up against this Bodo Glimt side, they thrashed Man City 3-1 and possibly could have been 4. So you ought to be careful how you go about them. In their small stadium over there in Norway. Meanwhile, in an interesting turn of events, just like he did over the weekend, although it had been a first move, Bukayo Saka has started for the Gunners in a number 10 role, playing in between or behind Victor Gyökeres with Gabriel Martinelli to the side, as well as Noni Madueke to the other. So I thought that is of significance to the conversation, really. But like I said, they've not created much. Yes, they've created a few chances here and there, but they've not yielded too much. They've not yielded too much. Oftentimes, it's felt slow, it's felt passy. It's lacked that cutting edge, that bit of extra pace that you would need in such a game. And pretty much like we predicted or expected, Rob Edwards did not change much his strategy from the first leg. Sit back, defend well, do it in numbers, and then you look to capitalize on a key moment or on moments there with this Arsenal side. And basically, that's what they've done. Arsenal keep knocking it around sideways, centrally sideways, and it's all not yielding too much. It's all not yielding too much. And this is when I say that you must find that tiny little bit of a space in half a second and try go from distance, because you're not going to get the kind of spaces that you want to play all the through balls and things like that. You're never going to get that. Kaisaka seems to be caressing his calf. Not sure whether that's any sign of comfort or discomfort. The sooner they double their lead, the better they will be in this game. That's for Arsenal. I mean, for the Newcastle game, Anthony Gordon scored 4 in that one, 2 of them being penalties. And some of his goals came in quick succession. So very, very impressive performance for him. Jacob Murphy with the other, as well as Malik Thiaw, the other goal scorers for Newcastle, in a very, very emphatic win over Karabakh. Oh, come on. How many poor crosses are you going to put in? You've got to do better than that. Now, let me ask, guys, for people who keep claiming Martin Odegaard is not captain material or is not vocal enough and things like that, Kaisaka is his debut. And how often today is wearing the armband? How often do you see him being vocal, with the other players? How often do you see him lead by example? Of course, the way he wants to lead by example is by getting things done when it matters the most. Yes, he's already scored, but he's been far from his best in as far as this season is concerned, you know? So, meanwhile, Olympiacos have the lead against Bayer Leverkusen. For Atletico de Madrid, it was an 8th-minute penalty from Julian Alvarez. That is still the difference between the two sides. For Olympiacos, I think it was El Kabi, I think the Moroccan international, who scored that one to give them the lead. Arsenal must be careful not giving away set pieces or set plays in dangerous areas like long throw-ins. We know they suffered for that or were penalized for that or punished for that against Brentford. Oh, they're all over the place. All over the place. Arsenal with 7 attempts on goal, but only one, sorry, 7 attempts on target, but only one has seen it through. With Declan Rice providing the assist for Bukayo Saka to give the Gunners the lead. Al-Kodare needs to get going to get what Jürgen Strand Larson couldn't do for much of this season. Not that Wolves are the most creative of sides. I think they're one of the lowest scoring sides in as far as the season is concerned. They don't defend well. They do not score that many. You know, it's overrun that one. Arsenal looking for a cheap penalty, or at least did try to get one. That's soft. That's soft. That would be soft. Atletico de Madrid have the second against Club Rouge. Ademola Lookman with the goal to make it 2-0 for Atletico de Madrid. That's not a dive. There's contact made. I just agree that it's not sufficient contact to cause a penalty. You know, that's my view on it. But it's not a dive because I've seen quite a number of them in the Premier League and elsewhere in football to at least to be tell the difference. Anyways, majority of the games have headed into halftime with Arsenal leading by goal to nil. Inter Milan against Bodo, that game is still 1-1 apiece. Club Rouge at home against Atletico de Madrid, behind by 2-0, while Olympiacos looks like their goal has been chopped or was chopped by VAR, so it remains goalless. Arsenal, okay. Levante are still 1-0 behind in the 94th minute against Villarreal, while Como have gone into halftime with the 1-0 lead against AC Milan. Nico Paz, the goal scorer there, against Maximiliano Allegri's side, who have only lost one game so far in the Italian Serie A this season of AC Milan. In terms of what I did observe in as far as the first half is concerned, starting off with the Premier League, is that once again, Arsenal have done all the right things other than scoring enough goals. They've dominated the ball to the tune of 68%. They've had about 6 attempts on goal. Only 3 have been on target. Jose has not been called into action enough. Like I said, they need to try and go from distance. They need to try and see if they can get things done in a different way, because insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So for us, if you keep slowing it down, if you can't keep Wolves on their toes with a lot of pace, with that intricate passing or quick passing, one-touch passes, then you give them all the ample time they need to reorganize. And we know how slim a 1-0 lead can slip away in a flash of a second. All it takes is a brilliant attempt. For example, Andre gave Wolves their first, Andre Gomez, he gave Wolves their first attempt on goal very late on in the first half with an attempt from a little bit of a distance. And, it goes slightly wide of the mark. So really, if that's on target, you bet David Rice not getting to that, and suddenly it'll be 1-1. And It could be a moment out of nothing. You could concede a penalty. It could be a scrappy goal as you will ever watch, but it doesn't take much to to get that. So really, uh, Andre's attempt is what Wolves only had for the opening stanza. I think while Bukayo Saka is being tested out in this area, there's another critical chance that I thought Arsenal created with Julian Timber bringing in a brilliant cross, only that Victor Gyökeres could not get to it fast enough to convert. Otherwise, if he had gotten his head to it, perhaps the score line we would be talking about now would be much, much different than the 1-0 lead that Bukayo Saka kept them. It's been a typical Arsenal performance. Pass the ball around, knock it sideways, centrally sideways, recycle it as many times as you can, and then end up empty-handed. They've had a couple of corners. I don't think the delivery has been good, as perhaps we are accustomed to, So there's a lot of things that they need to do better in the second half if they are to, because Arsenal have had two corners. If there's a lot of things that they need to, and you see, for me, the issue about this Arsenal side is it's not a mile of difference of the things they need to self-correct, especially in games like this, to get things over the line, because for me, I always think that one, pass the ball much quicker, two, to try attempting shooting from distance as much as you can afford to. It should be encouraged, and then take it from there. Otherwise, the more Wolves lock that door, the more confidence they grow into knowing that, we're defending well. We just need to get that one moment and go ahead in front. And we've seen how, I think it's Arokodare has given William Saliba a bit of a challenge when it came to when it came to the physical duels. Adam Armstrong, no. Yes, Angel Gomez was withdrawn for Arokodare. So we've seen what Arokodare has done with William Saliba. Like, he's matched him physically, and at one time Saliba considered, a free kick. So it could be that one tussle that Arokodare gets away, that a Hugo Bueno gets away, a Jean Belgrade gets away, and then your lead goes up in smoke. Then over to the Inter Milan game, briefly, the one that we've been following up in as far as heading into halftime is concerned, is that I don't know. Now, of course, if you are Inter Milan, you want to go into this game with all the confidence that you can win it, even though it's away from home. You're playing against Bodo Glimt. But the one thing that I do not want Italians to do is undermine some of these teams, because, of course, by leaps and bounds, or by all measures of account, Inter Milan, in terms of their Champions League pedigree or overall stature in club, is miles and miles apart of Bodo Glimt. The two cannot be even compared. It will be like comparing apples and lemons. So really, the miles apart. But the one thing they ought not to forget is that Bodo Glimt are giant killers. Like I keep saying, they beat up against Atletico, they beat up against Man City. Regardless of whatever shape you could argue that those two teams were in, they are still big teams nonetheless. And it's no surprise that they took the lead through Fett here, with Hall providing the assist. And then before Esposito, Francesco Esposito restored parity at the half-hour mark. Again, when you look at the possession, it's been a bit of a 50-50 between the two sides. Bodo Glimt have not given away much. They've conceded only 3 shots on target, and they've had 2 on the other side. The Inter Milan have had 4 shots off target. They've dominated possession to the tune of about 51% compared to 49% of Bodo, but that could vary depending on what your source is. So, but it's just to show you that the difference between the two sides is not being miles apart, as one would want to assume or expect that, oh, it's Inter Milan, we're talking about the losing finalists twice in the last 3 years, against Man City in 2023 and then against PSG in 2025. Yeah, they are far from that. We're not talking about the same Inter Milan side that, knocked out Barcelona at the semifinals. Last campaign, 7-6 on aggregate. That's not the kind of Inter Milan we're talking about. We're talking about Christian Chievu's Inter Milan, who have looked good this season, but sometimes you feel it's just not good enough. In any case, if it had been good enough, then they wouldn't be playing in the playoffs. But it is what it is. They have to go through that filter and get themselves to the next stage. So those are the games that I kept my eyes peeled to, in as far as the first half is concerned. But like I've told you, Ademola Lookman and Julian Alvarez's penalty have made the difference for Atletico de Madrid at halftime, while Olympiacos and Bayer Leverkusen is still goalless. Olympiacos, they are having a goal ruled out by VAR, having been netted by El Kabi. So far, that's what you have. Somebody asked me in my private inbox. Guys, I encourage you, if you have a question, please put it down under the broadcast. But they were asking me to, help read for them the Arsenal lineup. I mean, it's pretty basic, or what you would expect with David Raya in goal, William Saliba, Gabriel Magalhaes, Yoran Timber, and Pierre Hincapié. Then Declan Rice alongside Martin Zubimendi, Gabriel Martinelli, Bukayo Saka, Noni Madueke, and Victor Gyökeres. That's why I told you, I started off the broadcast by telling you that Bukayo Saka is back in the 10, almost like had been the case against Wigan Athletic. Kai Havertz, Mikel Merino, Martin Odegaard, and Max Dorman have remained out of the matchday squad through injury. While on the bench, Arsenal have Gabriel Jesus, Leandro Trossard, Christian Nogard, Ebeleje Eze, Mars Lewis Kelly, Ricardo Carafiori, Ben White, Christian Mosquera, and Kepa Arrizabalaga. Excuse me. So in terms of Arsenal's attacking options, of course, they have Leandro Trossard and Gabriel Jesus, with Ebeleje Eze perhaps could be slotted in at the 10. Then the one thing you can bet on is Mikel Arteta making a defensive change at some point in the game. It could be Christian Mosquera coming on for Pierre Hincapié, but more likely Ricardo Carafiori. Although I do not think, if they are winning and winning well, especially in the second half, then he should have no reason to field Carafiori, given the sort of injury scare that he just went over when he missed last weekend, encounter against Wigan Athletic. And it is believed that he got injured during the warm-up period. So we're just going to have and wait and see when it comes to that. Anyways, so that's what, those are some of the observations that we made at halftime, or that I made in the opening stanza. So what we are waiting for is the resumption of these games for the second half, and we get back to the conversation. Let's see on X what people are saying. Guys, you'll forgive me, but I feel incredibly exhausted. I feel like I've not had sufficient rest in the last couple of days, and I can almost feel like it's starting to take a toll on me in a way. Bit of a headache, bit of a cold. So, excuse me. Okay. Then what you should expect from us tomorrow is we'll be publishing that interview that I promised you about with Ismail Dakaba Chigongo. We've had that one today. But unfortunately, I thought I'll go through it and have it released today, but power became power, because as soon as I got home, hardly had I gotten comfortable in my seat than UEDCL decided that we ought not to have power. We ought not to have power. So basically, it came down to that, and yeah. Anyways, anyways, it is what it is. It is what it is. So expect that to premiere tomorrow. I think around should be around 10, 11. That's my expectation. Yep. Okay. Unfortunately, I did not find what I'd hoped to read for you guys. Ah, they're asking for 15 months. Now, according to some reports, CAF wants all stadiums for the AFCON 2027 to be ready in the next 8 months. Uganda say that um, Mandela National Stadium, Nambole, which is a 42,000 seater, can only be ready in 15 months. And why? I I want to believe that. I want to believe that the reason as to why they are asking for that time is because they decided to take away the contract, or okay, not take it away because they never had it, but instead of going for SUMA, they decided to go with UPDF's engineering brigade. And I have nothing against the UPDF engineering brigade, but when it comes to um, doing things on time, I mean, they're not that fast. They're not that fast. I seem to remember them constructing the netball court or arena at Mackay during, I think, was it the African Netball Championships? And they couldn't get things done on time, really. They were literally scrapping for their lives. And yet, Suma, if anything, have shown us that they can get things done on time, you know? And I'm thinking to myself, if you have things that are time sensitive, of course, I do advocate for domestic companies and constructors or contractors to get these contracts, as opposed to the land share being taken away by foreigners. I'm an advocate for that, but unfortunately, for governments, they've sort of put themselves in a difficult spot here. They know time is not their best ally. They know it's not them to decide when those. It's not up to them to decide when they finish whatever they ought to finish, because otherwise, then you look unprepared. We know that, for example, Lira City and Hoima City need 5-star hotels. To sort of ready them for AFCON. And of course the training, facilities and things like that ought to be done. But it cannot be government to decide, because if it's up to government, then they may want to finish 2 weeks to the tournament, and that's not acceptable. And that's not acceptable, not one bit. You know. Anyways, we are back for the second half, for the game between Arsenal and Wolverhampton Wanderers, as well as the game between Bodo Glimt and Inter Milan. The halftime results have not changed. Wolves is Mosquera trying to make the most out of nothing. Josh Boy says, "What's up? What's up to you, Josh Boy? How are you doing, my brother? Where are you joining us from?" We are, doing the watch along for the Arsenal Wolves game as well as the game between Inter and Bodo Glimt, with Arsenal leading by a goal to nil against Wolves, thanks to that first half goal from Bukayo Saka. You're from Spain. Oh, wow. It's been a long time coming that we got somebody else from Spain. We do have a Pedri, who is a regular on this channel. He's a Barcelona fan. Unfortunately, at the moment, he's not with us. But how is Spain? How are you doing? How is Spain? What team do you support in Spain? If you're a football fan, what team in Spain do you support? Who the hell is Pedri? Like the player? No, 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 no. Not the player, not the player. It's not the player. It's somebody who calls themselves Mace Pedri, something like that. So because the other first name is difficult to pronounce, we only read the Pedri part. And then imagine calling your account Pedri. What a loser. And then there's another that is called Pedri Bola. I mean, when it comes to online names, especially with handles that you can change, people choose what they choose, People choose what they choose. So, yeah, he's Pedri is from Spain. He's a Barcelona fan, an ardent Barcelona fan. Only that for some reason today he's absent with us, but he's a regular on this channel. So, what team do you support in Spain? Joshi Boy. I hope I'm pronouncing your name the right way. Sometimes I'm bound to getting it wrong. That's almost poor. Almost poor or poor? It was poor. Poor from Victor Yokeres. Should be doing better to hold on to that ball and then distribute it the right way. Nico Barreira. Not missing much. Oh, you support Barcelona. You only have 3K followers. Why so little? Well, that's as much as we've accumulated for the time we've been here. Yeah, we're still on a path for growth. I can't say that I'm complaining with 3,000 subscribers. Not really. Of course, do I want more than that? Obviously, many more than that. Nelson Martin says hello from Uganda. Hello to you too, Nelson Martin. Good to have you on the broadcast. What team do you support, Nelson? It's Ramadan today. Yeah, Ramadan Kareem to all our Muslim brothers and sisters out there. And then it's also Ash Wednesday. So happy latent period, or a blessed latent period for all the Christian faithfuls there that will be honoring or respecting latent or Lent period, for the Christians. So we wish you all the best. Nelson says he supports Real Madrid. Well, good for you. You have Barcelona you have a Barcelona rival in there already. In the comment section, I too do support Real Madrid. No Madrid here. No Madrid here. I see. You see how the rivalry in Spain extends even up, it extends to the Football Tribe UG channel. If Pedri were here, would equally be screaming at Nelson for being a Real Madrid fan. Seems it's that kind of fierce rivalry that you do expect, you know. But it is what it is. Where is Mestre Pedri? You're talking about he needs to come here. Well, unfortunately, today he's absent. Um, I just subbed. Oh, you just subscribed, Nelson. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for the honor. I hope you also like the broadcast. Um, I mean, I don't know, but you because we do broadcast in the morning at 9 a.m. and then in the evening or at night at 11 p.m. So depending on what time zone you are in, oftentimes if he misses the morning broadcast, you'll be here for the evening broadcast. So me too, I'll subscribe. Thank you so much, Joshi boy. Thank you so much. So yeah, on this channel we do have regulars, we have semi-regulars, and then we have the irregulars, those who will come once in a while, and things like that. Where are you from? I'm from Kampala, Uganda. That's where I'm streaming live from, and it's a quarter past midnight. That's where I'm streaming live from. Nelson, thanks for asking. Nelson Martin, 2007. 2007. Were you born in 2007? Um, Not much has changed here. Wolves have had a more brilliant start to the second half than their first, and they could give Arsenal a run for their money. And Arsenal cannot afford to lose points today if they are serious about winning the Premier League title, not even dropping two. Meanwhile, Club Brugge have pulled one back against Atletico de Madrid, so that game is 2-1. Inter and Bodo is still 1-1, while Olympiacos against Bayer Leverkusen is still goalless. All right. Oh, oh, David Raya up to the challenge. That slowness. I'll never understand why a player receives the ball in a quick build-up and then takes a pause with it. I mean, what's the point? What are you trying to tell the rest of your teammates that have been running to get to the right positions in time? Is Barca still the one leading the La Liga? Wow. Arsenal have the second through Piero Hincapié. Nelson is saying, is Barcelona still the one leading the top of La Liga? No. Barcelona now 2 points behind 2 points behind Real Madrid following their loss to 2-1 loss to Girona, while Real Madrid had won 4-1 against Real Sociedad. Meanwhile, Pierre Hincapie's goal will not stand because he's been judged to have been offside or to have been in an offside position when he makes the run. It's a bit of a close call. It's a bit of a close call that VR will have to that VAR will have to intervene on before a final verdict is made for that one on whether it should stand or otherwise. Aha. Josh Boy says, "Hey, I was playing a prank. It's me. Haha. You fell in my trap. Okay. If you sell for us a trap, Pedri, at least we said positive things about you, nothing negative. So if you are setting a trap for us to say something bad about you, then you're shit out of luck. Oh, come on. The goal stands. The goal stands. It's raining out there. It's freezing cold at Molyneux. You passed the test. You defended me, Mr. Tribe. A really good person. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're one of my everyday persons. So trust me, I do value the relationship that we do have here, even when sometimes we disagree on certain views here and there or matters when it comes to football. Ah, that's a beautiful run. That's a beautiful run from Pierre Hincapi. I think being found by Gabriel Magalhaes providing the assist. Uh, you know, I mean, that penetrative pass, that's what you want to see from Arsenal's forward players, but rarely do you see it. Rarely do you see it. And here it is coming from a defender, one left footed centre back to another, and Arsenal have a 2-0 lead. We do not let football divide humans. It's our beautiful sport. You're right. You're right. You're right about that. You know, the Ecuadorian at long last has, I think, this should be his first goal in Arsenal colors, as far as Pierre Hincapi is concerned. Oh, okay. Oh, come on. Oh, meanwhile, Bodo Gilmot have the second against Inter Milan. While we are still confirming the goal for the Arsenal on the other side, Bodo Gilmot squad to make it 2-1 against Inter Milan. If they are to go out, Bodo Gilmot are not going to go out without a fight. And they are grabbing the bull by both horns and they're going for it. They are going for it. They have that self-belief and self-determination. YouTube isn't letting me change my name back to Pedri. Maybe YouTube is trying to be on my side. It doesn't want me to get tricked again. But I think you have there's a time frame within which you can change your name. I hope Inter suffer and lose by big score. You still haven't moved on from last season's episodes of them knocking you out. I'll try later, guess. Yeah, perhaps a bit later. Aha. Oh, it's 3 now. Jesus Christ. How did that happen? Oh, meanwhile, Wolves have pulled one back. They've scored to pull one back. Wow, what a goal. What a goal from Hugo Bueno. That's a brilliant, brilliant goal. It's from distance. Arsenal caught napping. They did not close down the spaces. Meanwhile, Club Brugge have restored parity against Atletico de Madrid, while Bodo Glimt have found the third against Inter Milan, and it is 3-1. Oh, come on. What are you doing? Pierre Hincapi does not come in to close the space, nor does Zubimendi. Wow. Football is not footballing for Christian Chivu's side. This Bodo Glimt side have become a thorn in the foot. They are living the dream. They are living the dream. It's 3-1. And here Wolves come again. They are looking for that equalizer. They know it's achievable because it's Arsenal. And once Arsenal going to, when you've just conceded, sometimes you look as frantic as the one that is just, scored. Atletico de Madrid, if they're not careful, Oyedinka and Tresoldi are the goal scorers for Club Brugge. If they're not careful, Inter Milan and Atletico de Madrid, they could kiss this competition goodbye at the earliest time of asking, in as far as the playoffs are concerned. Italian football is on quite a decline that needs to be discussed. Whereas Inter made it to the final last season, Italian football ought to be discussed at an even bigger scale about the decline. Mikel Arteta are looking to make a burst of changes, introducing Gabriel Jesus and Ebeleche Eze for Noni Madueke and Victor Gyökeres are the players being withdrawn. So that means Gabriel Jesus centrally, Bukayo Saka goes to the right, and then Ebeleche Eze in behind the striker there. Meanwhile, Bayer Leverkusen have opened their account against Olympiacos, so they lead that game by a goal to nil. Remember, Olympiacos had a goal ruled out by VAR in the first half, that goal that had been scored by El Kabi. Arsenal living dangerously, and they are living dangerously. It's almost like they're asking Wolves to punish them. I have a device freeze. I hope it's not what I'm thinking. I hope it's not what I'm thinking. That's what I thought too. Arsenal just not serious. They're making Jose Sa look like a prime Manuel Neuer. Better. You're not missing much. You're not missing much, but I did have a device freeze that I had to go through. Looks like David Raya will have to wait for his clean sheet another time. So I need another goal here, even though my prediction was a 2-1 victory for them. The way they are dangerously leaving. Mike, usually when I watch Wolves in some of these big games, and the amount of energy they show, the fight, that bit of grit, that that grit of we're not going down without a fight. I always wonder where is it against the small teams? Where is it against the mid-table teams? Because I never see that. I never see that. Oh, Arsenal living dangerously. David Raya to the rescue. Oh, Zubimendi boy. What did he do to Belgrade? Really sent him to the market. Kaisaka is on the floor once again. I don't know why he chose to withdraw Noni Madueke, even though he wasn't having the best of days, and leaving on Bukayo Saka, who he knows is just returned from injury, and this season is as injury prone as Carafiori almost, really. That's been my experience of Bukayo Saka this season. First it was his hamstring, then the hip, then what? Was it the calf? Not too sure what next it was. That means Arsenal left with two changes after those three attacking changes. Beautiful pass. Come on, why are you going sideways when there's space to exploit? Why are you going outside when there's space on the inside? That's my question. And yet they seem to do that quite often. Arsenal's next game will be away against Tottenham Hotspurs in the North London derby. Oh, come on. Was that a pass? Was it a cross? Was that an aim goal, Trossard? Bayer Leverkusen have the second against Olympiacos. Patrick Schick with the brush in that one. Patrick Schick with the burst in the Bayer Leverkusen game. I don't know whether my predictions will come true, but I need to create my profile. Come on. This is a waste of time. How do you compress something from? Really? That's nonsense. Why is Declan Rice already feeling let down? Why does he already feel that way? Gabriel cannot continue. They have Christian Mosquera to call on to. They also have Ricardo Carafiori to call on to. So when it comes to their center back options, they have Ben White to call on to. They do have the options in there that are quite capable. And even if they went for Mars Lewis Kelly to chip it left back and Carafiori, Pierre Hincap chips tucks back in the center back. So they do have the options there in the back line. It's in that midfield where you feel a bit lightweight, especially with the absence of Martin Odegaard and Kai Havertz. Atletico de Madrid have the third against Club Brugge. So it's 3-2 in that one. I'm going through a device freeze. I'm going through a device freeze. Everything as I know it has come to a halt. Jesus Christ. Some things are more important than others. So I think that we need to agree on. Odnozi with the own goal in that one to give Atletico de Madrid that, much needed lead on the other side. Okay. We are good to go. We are good to go. Inter Milan have been poor. Aha, really? Arsenal living dangerously. I'm sure wherever Man City fans are hoping that that equalizer comes. I'm back. I just had a fight with a ladybug that invaded my room. So you're that very unwelcoming to visitors. Pedro, you're that very unwelcoming to visitors. You should be more accommodative to your visitors, Pedro. Instead of showing it where to sleep, decided to fight with it. I know it's I know it's not harmful, but it is so scary the way it moves. Hard guy. You're scared of a small ladybug. Mm? A ladybug is scaring you. Hard guy. What's up, man? Those are small things. You should coexist in the same space. Come on. That's impressive. What's Timber thinking? Do the simple thing. Do not try things that you've not done even on the training pitch, and then suddenly you want to do them in the match. And for some reason, they still can't find that third goal. It's just poor, poor, poor. It's far from it. Now, let me ask, if you're a manager like Rob Edwards, what's still the motivation for you? It's not like you're going to survive relegation. And I'm not saying he should play to lose, but what's like in a game like this, what's the motivation? I see him trying to command his players on things that he's not done earlier on in the game, you know? And I'm thinking to myself, keep it simple. If there's one thing that Arsenal not how to do, it's one, looking behind as opposed to looking in front. I was having an engagement with somebody, and they tried to sort of give me an insight on Mikel Arteta and saying that unlike his master in terms of Pep Guardiola or his former boss, as in coach in Arsene Wenger, he does not want to take enough risks in a game, and that's why his games play out the way they play out. And for me, sometimes, as much as that can be the case, sometimes for me, it's these players to blame because the your manager is not going to tell you when to play that back pass all the time. But they try to go for that sort of, I don't want to call it a comfortable situation, but like they want to take the easy option. And it's not because all the other options are too hard for them to take. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. It's like the first option they look for is the one behind them before looking for the one in front of them. I'm thinking to myself, how do you play with your eyes behind your head? You know, we are coming to the tail end of these games, and it doesn't look like Inter Milan are going to recover. Arsenal are not doing themselves any favors. What are they even thinking about? You gotta have that mindset. They're innately negative. Oh, he whooped that with too much strength that it almost felt like it had no intended target. I understand he wanted to put pace on it, but yeah, that's a little too much. Uh-oh. uh, Leandro Trossard, if we were doing laundry, he washed and hung in the dirt. If we were doing laundry, he washed and hung in the dirt. He did all the good work and ended up with the lousiest pass of all. Such a loose ball to nobody in the middle of nowhere. And you ask yourself, so why did you waste your energy making the run in the first place? He could have held on to that ball a little longer. He could have made the turn to a different direction. The, the intended target for the ball was way behind the defender or behind his marker. And so the Inter Milan game is finished. They've lost by 3 goals to 1. 3 goals to 1 against Bodo Glimmers. It's not strange that they lost, but losing by 2 goal margin, that's a bad one. Whatever time Arsenal waste will be added onto that stoppage time. So, oh, it's lucky to get away with that one. Bueno. Leandro Trossard, withdrawn for Ricardo Carafiori. Not sure that is the kind of cool-headed guy that you want to bring on when you're seeing out a game. He can be a bit of a loose cannon himself. It's 2-2. Wow. Wow, Arsenal, what have you done here? Oh, oh my word. David Raya, what was he thinking? What was David Raya thinking? He came out, didn't get the ball, didn't get the ball, he drops it, and then bang. Man City fans must be celebrating wherever they are. Must be celebrating wherever they are. Wow. Wow. Gabriel Magalhaes and David Raya could not communicate whatsoever. Ricardo Carafiori on the line cannot keep it out. Now, you could say that's unfortunate for Ricardo Carafiori, who had just come on for Leandro Trossard, and I was questioning, if you need to see out a game, is he the kind of light-headed guy that you need? Definitely not, but I can't blame him for that one. Wow. But only Arsenal will only have themselves to blame because they did not score enough in this game. They had the chance to do it. They had the chance to do it. They just did not do it. Wow. If there's any person that is going to have a bad night or the worst time going into the weekend, it's going to be Mikel Arteta. Because how do you defend this? 2-0 up, and then against the bottom side in the Premier League, and then you squander that. There's no way. There's no way you can defend Arsenal on this one. There's no way. Wow. And here I was asking, what's the motivation for Rob Edwards? Well, if you get to skin an animal the size of Arsenal, you're going to take whatever scraps of skin you can take off of them. You know, they kept playing it negatively, trying to buy time that they did not have. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. When you have a 1-0 lead or a lead as thin as one, you cannot afford to be complacent. You cannot afford to, waste time. You cannot not afford to, because it's one moment and then you lose it. It's one moment and you lose it, you know? And we know they've lost it. We know they've lost it. It takes that small a chance in that odd and a moment for you to drop the ball. And they've dropped this one. It's now Wolves' time to waste the time. And it's now Arsenal that are desperate to get it in front, and they can't. Wow. Wow. But that one was on David Raya and Gabriel Magalhaes. They failed to communicate. Raya comes out for the ball. Gabriel Magalhaes Gabriel Magalhaes wants to head it away. They can't agree on what. He doesn't get the ball. Gabriel doesn't get enough strength to it, and it's gone. Mm. Wow. It's game over. Arsenal 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 2. Wow. 2-0 up. And then 2-2. He did not need to do that. Why is Gabriel Jesus doing that? Anyway, it's a player that has lost his head. Wow. Man City could officially be favorites to win the Premier League title because Arsenal have just squandered it. And it's only they themselves to blame. It's only themselves to blame, nobody else. They couldn't see it out. Wow. You can see the disappointment on their faces. They should be. They deserve to be. They have to be. Because there is no way you can defend that. Wow. Wow. I did not see that coming. I kept saying anything can happen in football, but, and I kept saying it during the course of the game that once they have that deficit, that, a 2-0 lead, anything was bound to happen in this game. I kept urging they need to find the third goal here and put this game to bed. They couldn't because they couldn't take the risks. Why? Because they played with the reservation as though the game was over. They played to see out the game. They played in a manner that, like the game was already won before it's won, because it's not won until the final whistle, for which until which then you stop playing. Not even I can defend that. It's been a wrap. Have yourselves a blessed night. Let's link up again tomorrow morning. Bye bye for now.